The college basketball experience, Conference USA 25-26 season preview edition on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Underdog is hooking up new customers. Play just $5 and get $100 in bonus funds when you sign up with our promo code TCESGPN. Welcome, everybody, into the college basketball experience, Conference USA. USA, baby. You can tell I'm excited. This is preview number 30 out of 31. We only have one after this to go. The season is finally fucking here. Yes, can't wait to talk about it. Break down all 12 teams. We got 12 instead of 10 now in this league with the addition of Delaware and Missouri State. I got Conference USA football on in the background. So, yeah, CUSA, baby, playing weeknight games. So, yes, if you are wondering who you're listening to, I am Moneyline Mac, a.k.a. former staffer at Austin Peay with the Govs, South Carolina with the Gamecocks, and West by God, Virginia with the Mountaineers, also known as... It's a Mac tonight, baby. Triple header. So, yeah, going to be on the air for another 4 or 5 hours. Who knows? Hopefully the Dodgers and Blue Jays game is finished by the time I get done recording, unlike 2 nights ago where there was another 4 innings after that. And I stayed up till the top of the 18th, and they walked it off in the bottom of the 18th. So that really sucked. Wasted time staying up all that time just to fall asleep.
It was just the first at bat of the top or the bottom of the 18th, too.
Like, I fell asleep 5 minutes before. I was like, come on, you should have just played another 3 innings. I wouldn't have felt as bad, but this guy's a baseball guy. He is a host of the college baseball experience. He's also the LeBaron driving, cocktail napkin having Noah Bienick, a.k.a. OB77. What's up, man?
Yeah, we're both baseball guys joining you on today's episode. Conference USA. I was so high on this group of teams last year. I thought it was going to be the best mid-major league in the country. I don't know if it necessarily lived up to that billing. There were 1 or 2 that were a little bit better, but still a very, very solid year for CUSA. So happy to talk about it this year, although I don't think it's going to be as built up to be as good as it was last year.
Okay. And third man in the booth, you guys know him from the Windy City. Also the host of the Locks and Dog podcast. He is Cannabis Capper. CC, what's up, man?
Mac, it's good to be back. Good to be talking to CUSA. Going from America last night to CUSA tonight. Fired up. Got pouch in, ready to go. Speaking of CUSA, I know
this episode's off to a good start, everybody.
No, speaking of CUSA, Kennesaw State bowl bound for the first time in program history. Shout out to the Owls. Who's going to beat them Owls? Nobody.
Let's go, baby. Kennesaw. Love me some Kennesaw. Bienick, how did we do in CUSA? I have no idea how I did last year in this league.
So you drilled the regular season winner in Liberty. And we both had Liberty as our sleeper last year because the media poll had them picked 5th. You had them first. I had them second. So checked off those 2 boxes as well. And I had Liberty as my tournament winner. So they swept the league last year. Checked off 4 boxes there. You picked Sam Houston. Give you a lot of credit for your boldness in 1, picking Sam Houston, but 2, they were your bus team and you drilled it last year or the year before. They had won the regular season and then they were picked first once again, or actually, sorry, they weren't picked. We went off of last year's the previous year's standings because we didn't necessarily have a disappointment or a bust off the media poll. So we went to last year's standings, and Sam Houston had won it. You picked them 4th. They finished second to last. They finished 9th in the standings last season. But you did pick them in the year after the year approach to win your tournament, and that one did not come through. My disappointment / bust was UTEP, and that was good too. So we only missed 2 of our 8 predictions last season. Very solid preseason preview episode for us in the Conference USA.
Pressure's on is what you're saying. Incoming now to the league, Delaware and Missouri State, like I said.
Yeah. No new faces coaching wise. Nobody changed their coaches, but welcome to the league, Martin Inglesby of Delaware and Quanzo Martin of Missouri State.
Cap, I'm going to hand this to you. I think they're better equipped to win at football than they are at basketball.
Much better equipped to win at football than they are at basketball. I honestly, this conference has been a bit of chaos in the last few years. In the last 5 years, I think 7 different teams have either won the regular season outright or claimed a share of the regular season. So no had a repeat winner. I think in 6 years. So
like the SoCon, this is like a little bit like the SoCon shit show city, baby.
One of those teams, however, though, I can name one off the top of my head, has not been Louisiana Tech, and they've been my preseason prediction to win the league in like 2 or 3 straight years. So
I told you that was gonna fucking bust your ass last year because you were buying in. I was all in. I said I don't trust Hester down there, but yeah, to Cap's point, in 25, Liberty won the regular season. Sam Houston the year before that, FAU the year before that. Then they had the divisions. North Texas won it. Western Kentucky won it. And then it was North Texas again. So we have not had a repeat winner since 2020.
Western Kentucky was Lutz, right?
Yes.
That was Lutz's year.
Yes.
So, yeah.
What did you say? What were you going to say, Cap?
No, I was just going to say the divisions, but you called it out already. So you got ahead of me.
Seeing eye to eye, baby. Let's see how we are on our predictions. But first, before we talk a little Ritchie McKay and the Liberty Flamin' Libs, we are brought to you by... ourselves, the NFL, MLB, NBA, college football, and college hoops are all live, and we got podcasts giving out free content, picks, and everything else. God damn it, we're giving out so much content. It's ridiculous. I can't even keep track of it anymore. Subscribe to the SGPN feed to catch every episode wherever you get your podcasts today. Subscribe, you lazy asses. That wasn't in the ad read. I ad-libbed that at the end. Shockingly.
Legendary ad if it had that in it.
The boss is co-signed. So subscribe. Quit being a lazy ass. And it's free. It's free content. And help us help you. We'll be here all year.
Quit being a jack fucking subscribe.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is already year 10 for Inglesby at Delaware. Solid tenure at Delaware for the most part. 147, 137. They did have they were always in the middle. He had 2 really bad years, and it was the first year and last year, which was kind of ironic of the CAA era. But for the most part, always 4th or 5th. He made a tournament in 22. No, how did they translate into CUSA? I kind of don't like them bumping up here like football.
No, I don't either. They were hovering around 500, but mostly below. Only 3 seasons did they climb above that 500 mark in the CAA, and never more than 11 wins. There was 2 11-win seasons and 1 10-win season where they were just 1 game above the 500 mark. So I'm not expecting a whole lot out of Inglesby and Delaware. They do go out and get a couple of big ticket items in the portal, but this seems very TMZ-ish. Hey, we're taking a step up in conference. Come follow us into it, and we'll see how it goes. So they do bring back 4 guys that played some minutes last year, 3 of them meaningful minutes. Calvin Riley was a guard for them last year. 6'4" senior comes back. He's going to be expected to play point guard this year. There was a big selling point in bringing him back from the transfer portal. He averaged 12.5 points, 2.5 boards, 1.5 assists, over a steal per game as well last season. Shot 35.5% from 3 on 5.5 attempts a game. We'll see how the point goes for Delaware. I think that's a little bit of a hole for this team. But the other returners are Macon Emery, who played 15.5 minutes a game as a freshman last season. He's a stretch four, shot 34.5% from three on two attempts a game. And then Tyler Hauser played 15.5 minutes a game 2020, his last season of college basketball. He did not play last season for the Blue Hens. He's a 6'9" senior forward. And can also step out and shoot a three ball for you every once in a while. Let's talk about that portal, though. They spent a good bit of money on some of these gets, buying low on a handful of these guys, and we'll see how many turn into solid, contributors for this team out of the grab bag. Jameel Brown comes in from Temple. He played 16 minutes a game there. He shot 37% from three on 3.5 attempts a game. He's a 6'4" senior guard. Justin Fernandez is a 6'5" senior guard from Providence. He only played 10 minutes a game for the Friars last year, but did shoot 38.5% from deep. You have a Villanova big man transfer in Nana Joku. He's a 6'9" graduate senior, played 9.5 minutes a game. Christian Bliss is a 6'4" junior from Virginia who redshirted last year. Lance Piper is a 6'6" sophomore from South Carolina who this kind of was a raw deal for Piper and with Parrish over there at South Carolina. He reclassified and then didn't get to play at all. So he redshirted. Comes into Delaware. And then Buna Kebe from Memphis. He also did not play last season. JUCO transfer into Penny's program, and Penny wasn't able to find him any playing time either. So it is a big grab bag with a couple of big ticket items here for Inglesby. I think it's one of the more talented teams that he's had at Delaware. Flashback to the early 2020s where he did have a couple of talented guards and even made a tournament in 2022 with it. So there's some relative hope, I think, but it's still a bottom half tier team for me with just how limited Inglesby's ceiling has been with the Blue Hens. Capper, do you have kind of the same sentiment?
I honestly, I wanted to like this team. They made a bit of a run in the CAA conference tournament last year. I think they made it to the final and lost. They like to play up tempo, and they struggled with that cost of defensive end last year. They also really struggled with rebounding. I don't see that they've kind of solved some of those issues. Maybe they have with the portal grab bag, but they lost their two top rebounders off a team that struggled to rebound the ball, and I don't know if they returned enough to kind of make up for it. They're likely to run into some of the same problems in the in CUSA this year. I've got this as a bottom quarter team in their first year in this conference. I think it's step up in competition. They did add a bunch in the portal, but I think you're going to see a lot of the same issues that they kind of encountered last year, and they're going to struggle in come conference play.
Cosign. I think they're going to struggle with this transition. And Inglesby, we'll see if he's the guy for Delaware to lead this program in Conference USA. But too many question marks for me going into their first year of a new conference.
I agree.
Speaking of basement, that's where FIU has been a lot of the time over the last 5-6 years. Jeremy Ballard, I'm kind of shocked he's still there. Year number 8, 98 and 124. He's 42 and 82 in Conference USA games. They're coming off. I mean, it's kind of hard to believe that they're sticking with them, going from 14 to 11 to 10. Bienick, can they get out of the basement? I don't get what FIU's doing here.
They showed a little bit of commitment here. They got an influx of pit bull money, if you remember, with FIU. And I think this roster's a little bit better of a roster than Ballard's had in his tenure. He's not really crossed that threshold of 500 either in his tenure in the Conference USA with FIU. But I think that this team, it definitely has a steep hill to climb to clear that 500 mark. But I definitely think it could be one of his better groups. I believe 8 wins has been his ceiling in Miami with FIU. And I think he might be able to meet that because there's a lot of experience and there's some incoming shooting that I'm kind of a sucker for. So let's talk about it. They bring back one guy that played 24 minutes a game as a freshman last year in Ashton Williamson, a really good get that they bring back. And I mean, you can't ask for anything more. He provides a little bit of depth at the point guard position. a little bit of continuity, the very, very little that they have on this roster. In conference transfer, and Zoddy Jackson comes in from New Mexico State. He's a 6-foot senior guard. They're going to have him play the point this season. He averaged 3 assists last year, played 27.5 minutes for the Aggies, averaged 10.5 points, shot 37.5% from 3 on 3 attempts a game. They bring in a Houston Christian transfer and Julian Mackey, a 6'2 senior. That was a really good program, a surprise program under Craig Doty last year. He shot 36.5% from 3 on 6 attempts a game, averaged 15 points, 2.5 boards, over an assist per game as well. Really good defensive piece, too. He can do a little bit of everything for you. Britt Harris comes in from USC Upstate, and he's also a really good shooter. He averaged 49% from the floor, 37.5% from 3 on 3.5 attempts a game. Played 24 minutes a game, averaged 11.5 points, 2.5 assists. Another really good ball handler in that backcourt that's full of seniors, along with Corey Stevenson, who's a 6'6 senior, played 26 minutes a game last year for Bakersfield. Lucky for him, he got out of that disaster. He shot 43% from 3 last year, averaged 11.5 points, 5.5 boards, over an assist, over a steal per game as well. And then Larry Olienka, no way I drilled that, but he comes in from Sanford. He only played 10 minutes a game last year, limited attempts. He did shoot 65% from the field. They had an in-city, Miami prep recruit. He's Argentinian, Thiago Sucazzi. He's going to split time with Williamson in that backcourt, providing a little bit of depth and relatively good get there for FIU. A little bit of home cooking there for the recruiting ground there, and so it pays off for Ballard. They also have a D2 transfer from Tampa and a Marion Nimmers. It's a really good D2 program down there on the western side of the state. He played 27 minutes a game for the Trojans, averaged 14 points, 3.5 boards, and did a little bit of everything as well as an active defender for them. Shot 37% from 3, and that might be able to transfer. You've got a Bilo candidate and Michael Kelvin coming in from Oklahoma State, who wasn't able to get any playing time with the Pokes. Kennedy Brown comes in from D2 Roosevelt, where he was a pretty solid big man for them. You got a couple other internationals and Eric Dabami and Vidas Gashivis. No way I drilled that either, but both of them were Miami prep coups as well. So I think this is one of your more talented FIU rosters as well in this recent tenure of Jeremy Ballard.
Okay. So Ballard, he again, he's another team that likes to play up-tempo on offense. But last year they couldn't shoot for anything. They were a really rough shooting team. They were chippy on defense, but just could not score the basketball. So it looks like they cleared, the entire roster, majority of the roster cleared out, and they brought in a whole new guys. They tried to solve the shooting issue. I think they might have solved it. I mean, you got some, Noah, to your point, I do see the shooters on this roster. So I think the offense, it's got to be better than it was last year. And if he can get these kids to buy in on the defensive end, I think they can actually be pretty good. I don't think I would have them in the top half, but I definitely think they're going to be kind of out of the basement. I kind of like the way this roster is constructed. Again, it could be another one of those teams that struggles in the non-comp and really shows up and is the team no one wants to play in conference. So I think they might have a really good season in conference. I could see it.
I could see it being like the 22-23 season, 14-18, 8-12, 9-11 type team. Like they do have some pieces, but I mean, it's hard to bank on them with how inconsistent they've been during the Ballard era.
Yeah,
they have not had a winning season since 2020, his first 2 years. It's been 5 straight losing seasons.
Yep. A blind squirrel can find a nut too.
I mean, goddamn, you get surprised. You better. I mean, who else gets this opportunity? So
I'm not predicting them to go 500, but I think they're going to be feisty this year.
I'll say upper of the bottom half.
Yeah,
way to put it, Cap.
Here's a guy you don't want to bet against: Ray Harper, baby, 500+ wins, a nice year last year. Dude, I thought they were going to win the regular season. They kind of blew it down the stretch. Liberty was able to get them, but a 23-win season for Ray Harper. They got to the Conference USA title game before dropping it to Liberty. But I mean, you look at his tenure; he's been great at Jax State, going 169 and 125. He's won 60% of his league games. It took a year to get reacclimated back into Conference USA, where he was solid at Western Kentucky too. He's won at the Division II level. He's won everywhere he's been. Harp could coach, 500+ wins. They'll be in the hunt again because he's the head ball coach there.
Yeah, one other thing that you didn't mention is Harper plays a large rotation. He's going to throw a lot of bodies at you. And once again, I mean, it's an old group that is going to be physical defensively.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, that's just kind of the identity of, Ray Harper teams. Jamar Franklin comes back. He played 26 minutes a game last year, averaged 10.5 points, and shot at 41.5% from 3 on 5.5 attempts a game. He's their best offensive piece. Everybody else is going to somewhat contribute on offense, but it's a very defensive identity team. And a lot of newcomers as well. One of the other returners is Yaroslav Niagu, a 7-footer junior, played 12.5 minutes a game last year. He's going to have a much bigger role for this team as there's not a whole lot of front court depth behind him, especially at the 5. And they're going to need him to be a big rim protector for this bunch this year. And then the rest is kind of transfer portal guys. They brought back a couple of deep bench guys. But Marcus Fitzgerald comes in from Tennessee State, projected to be the starting point guard for this team. He did not play last year due to injury, but he's a graduate senior, 6'2", and he's going to run the show. You have a Toby Nadozie. I didn't drill that either, I don't think, but he was the MEAC Defensive Player of the Year at Coppin State last year, and he is able to shoot it as well. He shot 34% from 3 on 4.5 attempts a game. He averaged 2.5 steals last year for Coppin State, which was just a terrible team, but I mean, he was one of their go-to scorers and a really good defender for them, and he'll be on the wing for this team this year. Mustafa El Mutakil, didn't drill that one either. I'm trying, but he comes in from Louisiana as a 6'6" senior wing. He played 25.5 minutes a game there. They were not a good team last year. He averaged 14.5 points, 5 boards. Also a really good active defender with some length there. Averaged over a steal per game last season. AC Bryant comes in from Alabama A&M, another good defensive program that they had some continuity last year. I don't think they had the year that they were hoping for, but he as well averaged over a steal per game, another active defensive-minded guard, but he can shoot it as well. Adds a little bit of offensive element to his game off the bench for this team. Shot 41% from 3 on 4 attempts a game. He, Franklin, Nadozie are all going to kind of rotate in as some wings. Really good depth there. You have a couple of NAI and some deep bench transfers coming in from to Jacksonville State from their previous location, like a Jay Nash, who only played 7 minutes a game as a freshman at Tulsa, Ben Kao Vungu from East Carolina, who played less than 5 minutes a game, Tomas Tutt from Southeastern Louisiana, who played less than 12 minutes a game last year, and then the NAI transfer from St. Francis, Illinois. He lit it up there, but I don't know if he's going to make much of a difference on this team. Aitor Anabiterate, again, didn't drill that one, and I won't drill this one either. Amandrek Erkins Ford from Eastern Florida State. Harper going with some JUCO and NAI recruits, as that's kind of his background, right, Mac? So very defensive-minded team. They've got some depth in the backcourt, but they're really lacking at the 5, and I think that's a little bit of a hole.
Okay, fair enough. If I remember correctly, they really struggled with injuries down the stretch last year. That was like a big deal for them. I think at one point they only had like 8 healthy scholarship players on the roster. So it's good. I can see how they kind of retooled. They've got an identity, and I feel like a lot of the guys that they brought in seem to fit that. I think a lot of good fits here. They're going to be super chippy. They're going to be an upper half team. I kind of like. I do think they'll struggle with size, but that's not that big of a deal in CUSA. You don't come across, the Giants all that often. But I do see the gap in terms of size. I kind of dig the way this is put together. I'm not bottled. I don't have them winning it, but I definitely have them upper half. I kind of like the way this is put together, and I like that they have an identity and they brought in guys to kind of match that.
I'd make the argument he's the best coach in the league. Him and Ritchie McKay. They both have 500 wins, and they've won wherever they've been. So they'll be in the top 4. They like you said, they'll have an identity. They'll be tough as shit. They'll guard you. The games will be super physical, and they're good at home at Pete Matthews Coliseum. So, I'm going to be on my Gamecocks here. Ray Harper and company will overachieve once again. And if you want to bet on the Gamecocks, they're actually playing right now in football. Get on over there to MyBookie. We are brought to you by MyBookie.ag, your place to bet on football and basketball and everything else. Their prop builder is second to none. Their motto is bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. Easy deposit and lightning fast payouts using crypto. Head over to MyBookie.ag. Use our promo code TCESGPN for a 100% bet back bonus up to $500 for new customers. That's MyBookie.ag, promo code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by Novig. Novig is America's #1 sports prediction market. Getting the best prices out there. It's available in 35 plus states. Download the Novig app and get $50 when you spend $5 and use our promo code SGPN. Get in on the action with Novig, promo code SGPN. We move on. Kennesaw, the Owls, who are rolling in football. Antoine Pettway, a nice year 2, 19-14. He is a Nate Oates guy as well. He also worked for Avery Johnson. He was a holdover. He played at Alabama and came over to Kennesaw, jumped into the top 4 last year from 9th. So a nice year. Bienick, what do you think here? Top 4 again or middle of the pack?
Yeah, I think they're a contender this year. They're going to guard the shit out of you. They did take a big hit, and Davin Cosby Jr., he was a Wake Forest transfer coming in, expected to be a big-time contributor both offensively and defensively. He got into a really bad car crash and has multiple injuries, and he could be out for the entire year. He was expected to be a big-time contributor, starter for the Owls, and they're not going to have him for a bulk of the season. So really important that I felt the need to start there. They also brought in a couple other transfers. Perry Smith Jr., 6'9" senior from NC Central. He comes in after playing 28 minutes a game for the Eagles, averaged 11.5 points per game and 6 boards. They're going to need him to be a little bit more defensive minded because Braden Liu likes to step out and be able to shoot it a little bit and is a little bit more of your finesse type big. As a freshman last year, he did average over a block a game in 25.5 minutes, averaged 10 points, 5.5 boards. It's a really nice front court duo that they've got there. They also have a little bit of depth in the large freshman class that they bring in, and Franquan Sherman, who played 16.5 minutes a game last season. The other transfer that they have coming in is Jaden Harris, a 6'4" guard, played 17.5 minutes a game in this conference last year for New Mexico State. But let's cut the crap and get to the big identity of this team, and that's Simeon Cottle. Last year in 31.5 minutes a game, he averaged 18 points, shot 32% on 8.5 threes a game. He's going to be your volume shooter, the big-time scorer. He's going to light up box scores every single game for Kennesaw State. And they've got the 2 other returning sophomores in Jamil Miller, who is a 6'6" wing, played 23.5 minutes a game last year, averaged 7 and 5. And then RJ Johnson, who didn't play last year, it was a medical redshirt, but his freshman year played 16 minutes a game, averaged 7 points. Those are really good coups to bring back and retain that continuity alongside Ramon Seals, who played under 10 minutes a game as a freshman last year. There's really good continuity. This program's got an identity. They have a star. And if Cosby comes back and is able to play, they may be dangerous come March. But we'll see about that. I've got the Owls as a contender, but not necessarily one of the bigger threats to, let's face it. Liberty's the head and shoulders favorite to win the league. But Kennesaw State's going to be nipping at their heels throughout.
Yeah, I got a co-sign as far as that goes. I actually really like the way this roster is constructed. I'd feel a lot better if Cosby was healthy. Thoughts and prayers to Cosby. Hope he speedy recovery. But I really like the way this roster is constructed. I love the way that they they have an identity as far on defense. They make a focus of it. They do need to shooting was another an issue with them, but I do think there's been some improvement there. Also, I kind of like some of the freshmen they brought in. They're not going to be relying on play heavy minutes like some of the guys were last year, but they have like unique aspects to their game that should that 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 should uh, make for a rotation. Like Nigel Thomas comes in. He's supposed to be a great outside shooter. Um, they brought in a little the point guard. I can't remember the gentleman's. Sorry, I got to find the name. Amir Taylor. No, it's not Taylor. Either way, some of the freshmen they brought in are quality. Thomas is a great outside shooter. Amir Taylor is big on the inside. They've got potential rotation pieces who can do things on a basketball court. So I actually like this team. I think they're going to challenge. They're definitely the top three, and they might be higher than that. We'll have to see where I place them.
Top half of the team for me, like you said, I think Pettway's a good up and coming coach. They have an identity down there, and I think they will miss Cosby. To your point, so we'll see. Hopefully, he can get healthy, and those are unfortunate circumstances. So I got him in the top half here. I don't know if I have him contending though. Speaking of contenders, Ritchie McKay and the Liberty Flames were definitely a contender last year. 28-7, 13-5 in league play. Disappointing first year in the league where they've finished actually with the losing record, but they bounced back nicely. We know they dominated the ASUN forever under Ritchie McKay. They won 5 straight conference championships. They've been to 4 NCAA tournaments in the last 7 years. This is a good program. They invest like they're a high major program. Flamin' Libs, team to beat again, and they love being called the Flamin' Libs in Lynchburg.
1000%. Yeah, that's the TCE brand is Liberty's the Flamin' Libs. The reason why they struggled in year one in the Conference USA was the travel portion. They had not gone out west a whole lot in previous years, and this league spans all the way into New Mexico. So they really struggled in these road environments with all the travel as well. So that out of the way, I do think that Ritchie McKay, personally, I have him number one coach in the league, and they are head and shoulders favorite because of the backcourt. They returned 3 guys that played over 30 minutes a game last year. Colin Porter, Caton Matheny, and Zach Cleveland all back. Porter runs the show, averaged 4.5 assists last year in a game per game, played 32 minutes, shot 43% from 3 on 3.5 attempts a game, 49% from the field. Caden Matheny was money from deep, 38.5% on 8 threes a game, averaged 13.5 points, 2 assists, 3 boards. He's a graduate senior this year. Zach Cleveland is a 6'7" senior wing who played 32 minutes a game last year, averaged 11 and 6.5 with 5 assists, shot 48.5% from the floor. He's a really good back to your basket type, back people down and be able to dish it out to some of these knockdown shooters that Liberty's got. Because you also have Isaiah Enan, a 6'9" redshirt junior who played 18 minutes a game. He averaged 10.5 points a game last year and shot 39% from 3 on 3.5 attempts. So he's those 4 all returning rotational players last year. It provides a super, super high floor with as good as a coach as McKay is. They go out and they handpick a couple of transfers to help with depth, and especially at the 5 in Josh Smith, because Enan, a good shooter, and they want to keep him out of foul trouble. And Smith is a good defensive-minded big coming in from Stetson, where he averaged 8.5 and 5.5. And he has a little bit of offense to his game as well. Shot 55.5% from the floor. And they also bring in Ryan Jones from Virginia Tech. He redshirted last year with Tech, but another depth piece in that front court to go along with a very strong backcourt that adds J.J. Harper from D2 West Liberty, a very fast action motion offense. So maybe there's some empty calories in this stat line, but he did average 15.5 points, 5.5 boards, 3 assists. The defensive part of this game is there as a 6'5" wing. He had a block and a half per game and he shot 34.5% from deep. That for sure is going to play in this Liberty system. They bring back a couple of guys from their bench, and Xander Yates and Brett Decker, and they have a large freshman class coming in for Liberty. There's a lot to love with the Flamin' Libs this year, guys. They are, like I have mentioned before, the front runner in this league this year.
Yeah. They had a bit of breakthrough season last year, in the CUSA, and they have looked to build upon it. There's a lot to like with the roster. It's experience, it's deep, and it's been in the and a lot of these guys have been in the program for multiple years. So there's not a whole lot to say. They're top two. I mean, like the floor is what, 3 maybe.
Maybe. I mean, you could always have injuries, but with that experience in the backcourt, on Kempom and Bart Torvik, they're projected to win the league by 3 games. There's only 2 other teams or 2 other leagues that have a bigger favorable margin, and that's McNeese in the Southland and then Utah Valley in the WAC. So Liberty is as big a favorite, like with Gonzaga, to win their leagues as anybody. So this McKay and company, they should win the regular season, and they should have a shot to dance once again. And yeah, I'm going to back Liberty with Matheny. He's a Morgantown kid, so yeah, this is a really good team.
Is there a chance they could be in at large?
I think there's too many potholes in the Conference USA this year.
They would have to run the table almost real quick. Looking at their schedule, FAU at home, Vermont on a neutral, at NC State. Okay, so they do have opportunities to move the needle at Dayton.
Shout out to Will Wade for scheduling them. A lot of people just
Will Wade don't give a fuck.
Yeah, a lot of people just avoid these type of mid-major programs, and Will Wade's been there, done that as a mid-major. Like, that's been dangerous, and people don't want to schedule them. So
100%.
Hat tip to the Wolfpack for bringing them in, and same with Anthony Grant at Dayton. Same type of deal.
And Bienick, that Field of 68 event is in Liberty this year with Charleston and FAU. So that's an opportunity to pick up top 100-ish wins there, potentially. Definitely top 150.
To me, I don't think that there's enough meat on the bone.
They got to beat NC State.
Well, they can't lose in conference. I don't think that the bottom half of the league is going to be very good this year. Last year it was, but this year it's not going to.
If they beat NC State on the road and Dayton, they could drop a couple games in league play. But like that's a tall task to go into Raleigh with that team and win. And
I don't know, like you mentioned, like a team like Dayton last year, they pulled off a win against Northwestern, a win against UConn, a win against Marquette, and then they dropped 3 early games in the A-10, and their at-large bid was gone. So,
yeah, it would. They could maybe afford 3 losses in league if they won those, but probably 2. So the tall task is winning at Dayton and at NC State, and then winning all those other non-con games too.
The tall task is winning at New Mexico State this year, hitting the road at a couple of these venues, and being the team with a target on your back. I don't see them losing less than 5 games or 4 games. I think they're going to take a couple of blows on the road this year.
Probably with the travel. Louisiana Tech, all things considered, it's been a solid tenure for Hester. I know he had high expectations last year, but he finished second the year before. They took a little bit of a step back with high expectations. 57-40. Winning record in league play. What do you think here, Noah? They've been a little bit up and down.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a seesaw program. However, I do not see that bounce back potential this year. Okay. Really leaning into the JUCO route, which shout out to them. I'm not one to hate, but it's just a lot of questions and stepping up into one of the biggest and best mid-major conferences in D1 college basketball. So they bring back 3 guys from last year's team that played meaningful minutes. Caden Cooper played 28 minutes a game as 6'5" junior wing. Didn't shoot it very well last year, but he did average 9.5 and 8. And same with William Jeffress, a 6'7" graduate senior who shot 37.5% from 3 on 2.5 attempts a game, 50% from the field, and he averaged 9.5 and 7. They need those 2 guys to really, 1, stay healthy, but 2, carry the load for a lot of guys that they may take it on the chin in Division I early on in their tenures. 2 other returners, though, AJ Bates, who played 17.5 minutes a game as a freshman, and Will Allen, who's a 6'7" redshirt senior forward who played 8.5 minutes. Both of those guys may like walk into starting roles this year, which could be big question marks. The D1 transfers that they bring in, graduate senior out of Oral Roberts and Sir Isaac Heron. Last year he did not play for the Golden Eagles. And then Scooter Williams Jr. from East Texas A&M or Commerce, however you prefer them called. He was a volume shooter and not a good one last year for the Golden Lions. So we'll see what he's able to do, taking a step up in league. So it's very interesting grab there. DJ Dudley is the expected point guard for these guys. He comes in from Hutch Junior College, averaged 14.5 points per game, 5 boards, 4 assists. And then you got 2 Jones College coups and Kylan House, who averaged 6.5 and 6.5 with 2.5 blocks per game. He's a 6'9" junior forward. And Avery Thomas II, last year as a freshman for Jones, he averaged 14.5 points, 7 boards, and over assists per game there. They have a McLennan recruit coming in last year as a freshman. He didn't get a lot of burn, but McLennan's a good junior college there. East Mississippi grab and Jamerithion Anderson. I actually think I may have drilled that. He averaged 15, 4, and 3. And then you have a New Mexico junior college grab in Malian Martinez, who's a 7-footer and may get some time. Provides a little bit of depth in the front court. But I think the front court's where this team shines. They got to figure out some of these guys to play meaningful minutes in the guard roles and maybe on the wings. But Caden Cooper, William Jeffress, those are the 2 names you got to know for the Bulldogs this season if they're going to keep them afloat in the top half of the standings this year.
This team last year, they said the defense fell off a bit. They finished like middle of the pack in terms, in terms of defensive efficiency. They were, typically in the top one. They've been in the top 100 in years before, but last year they were like, around the middle of the pack, and they kind of fell off towards the end of last season too. They seem to, it was a bit of lost focus. It's hard to see the bounce back. Yeah, this program. The fact that they don't return Bacho, and he was like, I believe he was their leading scorer last year and leading in one of the top rebounders.
I think he was the player of the year, right?
I think he might be right. Yeah, he was really good for them. He's not back, so that's a bit of a blow.
He was a rim protector.
Yeah, and I don't know if they've returned that. Yeah, I think they'll probably be upper half, but they're going to be a blob team. I have a feeling.
I got them in the middle.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they've been outside of that one bump up year with Bacho's first year there. And then everybody jumped in on them. So
they had Bacho and Isaiah Crawford that year.
Yeah, they were loaded with talent, and that's why they were able to almost win the league. So
yeah,
I think
they choked it. They lost, I think, their final 2 games of the year to lose.
They Jax Stated it. They Jax Stated it, and then
Jax State was hurt.
True, but like they had a 2-game lead with like 3 to go, and they lost all 3 to end. It was brutal to watch. Yeah. But yeah, middle of the pack for Louisiana Tech. It's an interesting roster, size, physicality. Interested to see Hester year 4.
McDevitt, they didn't lose 2 in a row. They lost to Sam Houston in basically the virtual title game. They hosted that one too. So I remember it burned because I had a future on it, and that stung.
Year number 9 for Nick Medved.
McDevitt?
Sorry.
Nico Medved?
Sorry. Why did I like? That's who I was thinking about. I'm like, I on Google I typed in Nico Medved, and I'm like, wait, why am I looking up Nico Medved right now? No, sorry, Nick McDevitt, who was good at Asheville for 5 years, won 2 regular season titles, got to an NCAA tournament, got the middle job. They've been an interesting program. Like the bottom has fallen out a couple times, but overall they've been okay. Last year was a nice bounce back year off the 14 and 19 year, 12-6, tied for second. 3 out of the last 4 years have been nice, where they finish in the top 4. So, Bienick, what do you think of these Blue Raiders? They got to start filling that arena again.
So, speaking of filling the arena, they are hosting a couple of big names. They are going to take it on the chin in the non-con. Go ahead and entertain yourselves while I read the roster. Check out the schedule. They're challenging themselves in the non-con.
Oh wow! Holy shit.
Trey Green comes back. He's a senior, played 13 minutes a game. He's a 6'3" guard for the backcourt alongside Kamari Lands, who is a very talented high school recruit. Hasn't quite clicked for him in his college career, but he's a senior 6'8" kind of wing that last year he took 4.5 threes a game, not at a great clip, but he's probably going to be the star player for this team once again, alongside Green, who comes in, and then a couple of transfers that we'll talk about. Torrey Alston is a really good rim protector for these guys. He played 20 minutes a game as a freshman last year, averaged 6 and 5, shot 57.5% from the floor. And then they also have Chris Loof, a 6'11" junior forward who played 13.5 minutes a game. Really good depth in the front court, as they also have Jared Hall, a 6'9" junior forward who played 5 minutes a game last year. Where they need to add a little bit of talent offensively is in that backcourt to support Trey Green, and that is Sean Smith from Western Illinois and James Dent. They're going to split some time at the point. Smith averaged 3.5 assists last year for the Leathernecks. He's a 6'3" graduate senior guard, played 35 minutes a game last year, averaging 10.5 and 5 with over a steal and a half per game, shot 33.5% from 3 on 3 attempts. And then Dent Jr. comes in from Northern Illinois, where he shot 34.5% from 3 on 7 3-pointers attempted a game. He averaged 14, 5, and 3 with just under a steal per game. And also just an active defender. They're buying low on Javon Carter, who didn't play a whole lot with Penn State last season, under 10 minutes a game. And then Savon Weichel comes in from Missouri St. Louis. Marcus Whitlock, as a freshman last year at Cowley Junior College, averaged 16 points and 4 boards. They have Wallace State junior college transfer and Charvez Ambrose, who averaged 11 and 3.5 with 3 assists, and then a Southern Idaho get and Brandon Olumu, 6'9" junior forward. They've got plenty of depth up front. I think that's where they're strong this season for the upcoming year. The Blue Raiders just need a couple of these portal grabs to hit in that backcourt, and I think they're a top half team with how good defensively McDevitt's rosters have been in past years.
Honestly, I think they're a top 4 team. I mean, I really love the depth. The fact that they actually went out and looked to add guys, so they could actually have a bit more of a complete rotation. I think they've got a really deep roster from top to bottom. And I like their guard play is going to be quality this year. I have a feeling. So given the defensive system that they're kind of stepping into, I think you're going to have Murfreesboro rocking again this year. I think it's going to be a lit environment. I did take a look at the schedule.
They'll be battle tested by league play.
They'll be battle tested, yeah. At Evansville, at Michigan, at Murray. GW comes in the middle. McNeese comes to middle. UAB comes to middle. Belmont comes to middle.
Yeah, Mac likes to look at it and he's like, okay, this coach is testing themselves. He likes his team. He's testing his team early.
I agree. I think this is a top 4 team too. They got size. They're old.
They've got some questions in the backcourt, and if they hit, I think their ceiling is reachable.
I think it is. Sure. No, I think the backcourt's going to be really solid.
I'll be in all middle this year, I think.
I think me too.
You know where I'm always in? That's Underdog. Underdog is your home for pick'em entries where you can win up to 5,000 times your entry. Underdog's had a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get 100 in bonus funds when you sign up with the promo code TCESGPN. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm is crushing it in college football, NFL, and soon to be college basketball. And they added the NBA last week. Well, good luck with that load management. Rhythm is also giving away weekly cash prizes just for tracking your bets in the app. Track 5 bets in the same type for any model you build, and you can win $1,000. Use the promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app for 25% off your first month. Download the Rhythm and use the promo code SGPN25. Next up. All right, I was out on this hire to start with. I questioned his hunger coming back down to Missouri State. He already made his money at Missouri, Cal, Tennessee. They were my bust in the Missouri Valley that we just said on the previous episode.
Yep.
I don't know, Bienick. Is there optimism in year 2 coming into a new league? No,
I'm shaking my head for the audio listeners at home.
Football program's good. They would be in a bowl game if it wasn't for that stupid ass rule.
One of the more entertaining players is back in college basketball. He's a 6'4" senior center. You heard me correctly. Michael Osei Bonsu, 6'4", 280 pounds, brick shit house. He averaged 11 and 7.5 last year. Also is able to pass. He's a physical bowling ball that actually can hold his own as a defensive big man. He looks like just one of those Somalian weightlifters in the Olympics. He's back, and that'll be fun to watch.
Which country, Noah?
I said Somalian. I don't know.
Are they known for their weight?
I think, yeah.
Okay.
I think it's an African country that has brick shit houses that they manufacture.
Okay.
I don't know.
That was Colby's analysis on this.
For whatever reason, Somalia was the first country that came to mind.
Fair enough.
Somalia.
What are we looking at?
It is Africa.
It is.
Somalia's in Africa.
That was the country that I was thinking of when I said it. So
I don't know that their guys are necessarily known for their
weightlifting.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was the first thing that came to mind for whatever reason.
I sincerely apologize for interrupting. Please continue with your analysis.
It's meant for entertainment, and this guy's going to be a very entertaining player again. He was their best player last year, or at least in my mind. I was quite entertained watching Missouri State and this guy play basketball last year. It's just a wrestling match when he's down low. And Zaxton King was a bright spot for them last year as a freshman. He played 30.5 minutes a game, shot 38.5% from three on 4.5 attempts a game, averaged 9 and 3 with 1.5 assists. He's going to have a much bigger, avenue of scoring for this year's offense because they have a true freshman point guard in Trey Williams that they're relying on big time. And that's just a gigantic question for me that I can't get over. Their transfer portal does have a couple of guys that make you raise your eyebrow a little bit. Darian Sutton is a 6'9" sophomore. Last year as a freshman played 12 minutes a game for Georgia Tech. He's an offensive big that might be able to add a little bit of a dynamic to this team. And then also the Bears bring in Antoine Burnett from Grambling State. He was one of the better players for a good program in the SWAC, averaged 10 and 5.5, shot 35.5% from three on 3 attempts a game. Amar Kuliahovic comes in from North Dakota. He's a 6'8" senior forward, played 24.5 minutes a game last year, averaged 10.5 and 7. D2 transfer from Cal PA and Keith Palek III. He's a senior, protected his last year of eligibility last year, and he transfers into Missouri State. Put up 19 and 8.5 in his last season playing for Cal PA. D2 Truman State transfer that shot 39% from 3 on 5 attempts a game is Kobe Williams. He averaged 14.5 points, 5 boards, 2 assists a game. And then a D2 transfer from Missouri Southern, Tyreek Brooks. He's a 6'4" sophomore. Last year, his freshman year, he put up 13.5 and 4.5 while shooting 46% from the field and 36% from 3. Again, I think Quanzo Martin may have forgotten about the point guard position, but it'll be an entertaining bad team, I think.
Yeah, emphasis on entertaining bad team. If this team was, they finished 12th in the MVC. I don't see a whole lot of hope for making the jump to the CUSA with this team. This is. And for some, I'm trying to build a case here, and I'm just not able to get there.
Well, I'll buy you time. Bayou Betts and Jeff B thought I meant Samoan. I did not mean Samoan. He's a big black man. So.
He is. I thought you were thinking of Tonga. Was what I thought when I think of large beefy dudes.
The first country that came to mind.
He's African.
Somalia. for whatever reason. So.
Yeah, but I don't know that they have like big beefy dudes. And
Samoans go to BYU.
Usually tall, not usually wide.
I'm aware that Somalians or Samoans go to BYU.
Yeah,
I think a Somalian might be playing for Missouri State.
I
could be from the Congo.
Yeah,
guys in the Congo. Yeah, you get some big
Mutombo's from there, and all those guys.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the point guard is really a head scratcher here. You would think that they would have a bit better guard play. They're going to need a bit better guard play. This is going to be a rough ride for Missouri State. They're going to be down there with Delaware, I have a feeling.
This is the analysis you get on the college experience. He's a big black man.
Dude, he's a physical brick shit house. I don't know how else to say it.
Noah Bienick, everybody.
Wait. Dude, a basketball team with a big black man? No way.
I looked him up online, and I cannot find a good picture that I want to show.
I believe you. It's just I didn't equate Somalia to.
It's incredible watching Missouri State basketball.
Is he from Somalia?
I don't know. I just literally I don't know why, but that was the way I chose to describe him.
Fair enough. I apologize for questioning. I shouldn't have done that to you.
I again enjoyed the very. He's from Bolingbrook, Illinois.
Oh, right down the street.
It's not the Congo. No,
it's
the Congo.
No.
He's fucking Cap's neighbor over there.
He is.
He's from the Congo.
It's right down the street. Is it 20-minute drive?
Let's talk New Mexico State here. The Aggies, the year 3 of Jason Hooten coming over from Sam Houston, who's now in this league as well. Back-to-back top 4 finishes. He's a good coach, man. He did a great job at Sam Houston. You see his record 291 and 203. He was dominant at the last couple of years at Sam Houston, going 26-8. Bienick, what do you think? They'll stay in the top 4 here, these Aggies, because Hooten's there.
Yeah, Hooten's a very good coach. He cleaned house after a 500 year last year, and I think his team's going to get significantly better. Where I think they really do shine is on the defensive end, and they bring in a D2 point guard in Chris Terrell, who put up 21 points per game, 4 assists, 3.5 rebounds. He averaged 3.5 steals a game last year, and he's going to play meaningful minutes, whether he starts at the point guard or not. Point guard position or not, that's going to be like a significant piece to this backcourt to go along with some other seniors. This is a very old team. They've got 7 seniors in the potential rotation this year. Elijah Elliott is a 6'1" grad that comes in from Southern Illinois. He played 26.5 minutes a game for the Salukis last year. He was one of their better shooters, shot 34.5% from 3 on 5 attempts a game, 51% from the floor. Averaged 14 points, 3.5 boards, 1.5 assists, over a steal per game as well. Jamel Jones is a 6'4" senior guard that comes in from Cal State Bakersfield. He shot 35% from 3 on 3 attempts a game, 48% from the floor, averaged 19 points, 3.5 boards, and 2 assists. Also another active defender. And then the front court lacks a little bit of depth. They're going to need some guys to stay healthy. Kyrese Mullen and Julius Mims specifically. Mullen comes in from Hampton. They had a very good defense last year. He averaged 7.5 and 7. And then Mims is a 6'9" grad senior that comes in from Idaho. He shot 66% from the field, averaged 8.5 points per game and 6.5 boards. The defense, I think Hooten usually has pretty good defensive groups. The front court to me is small, lacks a little bit of depth, and isn't as great defensively as I've typically seen, whether it be at Sam Houston or NMSU here with the Aggies. A couple other transfers coming in is Anthony Wersich. Didn't drill that one either, but he was with Hooten at Sam Houston to begin his college career. Stuffed the stat sheet at McMaster, which is a Canadian university last year. Ibrahima Sacco is a New Mexico transfer. He's a 6'6" junior wing. Sear Malunga is an East Carolina transfer who's a 6'11" big that barely saw the floor. He's a junior. You got a Corpus Christi guard transfer in Christian Villegas, and then 2 guys that played just under 12 minutes a game as freshmen last year, Jacoby Osborne and Gabe Pickens, they both return for Hooten at New Mexico State, but I don't know how much burn they're going to get with this older, longer team.
Yeah, they're old.
Yeah, their backcourt is definitely the strength.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got them as a top half team. I don't have them super high though.
Okay. They had to replace a ton. They lost Peter Filippovidi and Christian Cook both left the program. I believe they were all conference last year.
Filippovidi was a big time scorer from Maine.
Yeah. But they did a nice job of replacing with I think Jones, Randall, and Elliott should be able to replace a lot of that scoring. What they need is one of their point guard options to really emerge. That's going to kind of make or break this team, I feel. I think the options listed, Pickens, Elliott, and Terrell are the three options listed. They need one of those guys to really emerge as a point guard who can run the offense. I like the pieces. I like the backcourt. I like the coach, like the program. There's a lot to like with this team. I think they're definitely going to be upper half with a chance to break into that top 5.
Yeah, I have them in my top 4 again. They're the oldest team in the league. I think with how much experience they have on this team in that backcourt that can really score the ball, I think they're going to be better defensively too this year. So Hooten year 3, I'll bank on it. Top 4 team for me.
Yeah, sadly, I'm not sure if they have what would qualify as a big black man on the roster though. So that may be a gap.
Let's talk Jason Hooten's former assistant that was with him for a decade, Chris Mudge. Year 3, setback year. They won the regular season, the first year, inaugural year in Conference USA. They bounced back. Regression was tough last year. Finished 9th. Bienick, what do we get here? Somewhere in the middle, or last year or year 1?
I don't know. Like Mudge, another defensive-minded head coach that usually has pretty good teams. A little bit of a shift in philosophy. I think they go out and add a little bit more offensive talent, but overall, I don't necessarily love this roster as compared to others in this conference. The golden child of the college basketball experience is on this team, though, and that's Po Boy King. He transfers in from North Carolina Central, played 31 minutes a game for the Eagles last year, averaged 16.5 points per game, 3 boards, 1.5 assists, over a steal per game as well. He's a 6'5" senior guard that shot 33.5% from 3 last year on 6.5 attempts a game. He's going to be huge for Sam Houston's offense this year. They also bring in a freshman point guard from George Mason, sophomore, but last year as a freshman didn't play a whole lot for the Patriots. But he comes in. You have Veliko Ilic, transfer, 6'10" big man from Loyola, Maryland. He played 18 minutes a game for the Greyhound last year, averaged 8 and 5, shot 52.5% from the floor. And then Kashi Nutt is a big name transfer from LSU Alexandria. He was an NAIA star, averaged 20 and 10 with 3 assists as a 6'3" graduate senior guard. Shot 31.5% from 3 on 4 attempts a game, 48% from the floor, and he averaged 2 blocks as a 6'3" grad guard. Incredible defensive piece there that also has a lot of scoring ability. And they pair all those portal grabs with Damon Nicholas, who played 25 minutes a game last year for the team. He's a 6'4" guard who shot 37% from 3, averaged 8 and 5.5 with over a steal per game as well. Chake Dye, who is a 6'10" big man, played 10 minutes a game last season for Sam Houston, and Jackson Ford, a 6'7" sophomore wing, played 9.5 minutes a game for the Bearcats. To me, the gamble portal grab is Isaiah Manning. We'll see if he kind of fits in. He's more of an offensive-minded big man, but as a redshirt freshman last year in the little time that he had at TCU, he was showing the ability to step out and shoot a little bit for the Horned Frogs. So we'll see. Young, inexperienced bench for sure. Mudge has his work cut out for him this year.
Okay. Sam Houston, they like to play a really, if nothing else, they like to play a really dynamic style of basketball on both ends of the floor. A lot of pressure on both ends. A lot of threes, and trying to getting back on and getting after on defense. They need a lot of guys to pan out if they're going to finish top half. I think it's an intriguing roster. It's going to be a fun team to watch. They're going to have nights where they look fantastic. I think they're going to have nights where they look really rough. As far as conference play goes, I definitely worry about the depth. I really want to pick them for top half, but I can't get there. I think they're going to be kind of near that La Tech kind of blob is where I have maybe a little bit lower than La Tech, but they're going to be in that middle kind of blob. Not going to be one of the worst teams in the conference, but I think they're really going to have a hard time in conference play this year.
I have them towards the middle, around a 500 team, splitting the difference. I think Mudge and company, they get back to being better defensively this year. Next up, we got the Miners of UTEP. Joe Golding, year 5. They have been just up and down in this league. Year 1, 4th place. Year 2, 9th. Then back to 4th. Then down to 8th. Kind of have been they've struggled with consistency here, coming over from Abilene, where I loved the hire at the time. Are they in the middle of the pack again here, Bienick?
That's where I'm going to stick them. I mean, Joe Golding's rosters never really appeal to me because he is a JUCO bandit himself.
Yeah,
and he really enjoys like picking at some of the diamonds in that level of basketball.
Yeah.
So every single year there are plenty of question marks on these rosters that he's going to coach up and they're going to be pretty grindy, both offensively and a really good defensive team. Last year it panned out for me. I had them as my bust/disappointment team. And I got him in that same range this year. But I could definitely see he brings in 3 JUCO stars that are going to play big minutes for this team this year. And there's also 3 returners in Trey Horton, Elijah Jones, and KJ Thomas that all played around 10 minutes a game last year that are back. I think the strength of this team is in the front court. You've got a Kasim Watson who comes in from Delaware State. He's a redshirt junior for this upcoming year, 6'9", played 32.5 minutes a game last year, averaged 15.5 and 6. A really good defensive piece for them down low alongside Jamal West, who averaged a block and a half a game last year at Nichols. He's a 6'6" senior forward, played 26.5 minutes a game last year, averaged 12.5 and 6.5, shot 50.5% from the floor. And then a UL Monroe transfer rounds out the D1 grabs with experience. And Tyrese Watson, he's a 6'4" senior guard, played 32.5 minutes a game last year, averaged 12, 4.5, and 3.5, 4.5 assists, 3.5 boards a game with the Warhawks last season. And they're taking a chance on David Tubeck. At worst, he adds a little bit of depth to the front court because there's not a ton there, not a lot of meat to the bone. But at best, he's another really good defensive big that is a Seton Hall transfer. He only played 10.5 minutes a game last season. Here's where the ceiling of the team is going to be determined, is on these 3 JUCO grabs. Caleb Blackwell, a 6'1" junior point guard from South Plains Junior College. He was ranked 21st in JUCOrecruiting.com's transfer portal. He averaged 6 assists last year, 13 points, 3.5 boards. L.A. Haynes is a 6'5" junior guard from Frank Phillips. He was money from deep, 28th in the portal from JUCO, averaged 17 points, 5 boards, 2.5 assists. And then from Coach Ice, Jordan Hernandez, who's a 5'11" redshirt junior guard, backup point guard, averaged 5.5 assists last year, 11 points, 4 boards. Those 3 are huge JUCO portal grabs that are going to raise the ceiling offensively if they hit for the Miners this year. And Muhammad Mbe is an honorable mention as a defensive specialist last year, 4 boards and a block per game and limited minutes for Trinity Valley, who won the national championship at the JUCO level. So to me, it never really is an appealing roster for the Miners and Golding. I've got them smack dab in the middle of the league because I could see some of these JUCO guys hitting and them being good, but I don't think there's a super high ceiling. So I feel safe right in the middle of the conference standings.
Yeah, this feels like a blob team. I mean, last year, if I remember correctly, they were pretty good defensively, but they were really rough on the offensive side. It looks like they've gone out of their way to try to address some of the offensive issues. If they're able to, if those JUCOs pan out, they could sneak their way into the upper half. But I feel like this is a blob roster. It's kind of cool that they're they're making a focus on on culture and accountability, and trying to have that the kind of selfless team that kind of plays for each other. In this conference, that could potentially have legs if he's able to get the right group of guys, but I'm not sure if this is the right group that's going to lead to success in this season. So for me, it's a blob team.
Yeah, super chippy under Golding. Defensively, they'll be tough. They'll rebound the ball. I got them in the middle. They'll be tough out at home per usual. But like you said, I think it's a low ceiling but a high floor team. So I got them right in the middle as well.
I could see that.
Final team on the slate: Western Kentucky. Hank Plona coming over, or got promoted for when Steve Lutz went over to Oklahoma State. A little bit of a disappointing year with all the returning production. 17-15, 8-10 in league play. He was awesome at the JUCO level. So this guy is a proven winner. I know last year was disappointing, but Indian Hills Community College, he was 225-35. He coached some of the best. He won the league every year that he was there. So I got to think that they will bounce back to a certain degree here, Noah.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, they had some continuity. It wasn't like a team that brought back 3 or 4 starters, but they brought back their best player in Don McHenry. He's now gone. He averaged 17 points per game last year. But to me, it qualifies as one of those teams that, you lose that volume scorer and maybe they're a little bit better. Also, they didn't have Terrion Murdoch last year either. He's been with the Western Kentucky program for a couple of years, but has not been able to play due to injuries. But he's healthy now, and he's been a really good point guard in his career. Started his career with Lutz at Corpus Christi. He's a 6'1" graduate senior now. He averaged 13.5 points per game, 5.5 assists, 4.5 boards in his final year of in his last year of college basketball. He shot 49% from the field, 34.5% from 3. And they're expecting him to be a big contributor as he's kind of been built up throughout last spring, as he just missed last season's window of playing time. They also have a couple of role players coming back that played around 12 minutes a game. Tegan Moore, a redshirt sophomore. Blaze Kita, a 6'11 graduate senior. Leroy Odiahi, a 6'11 graduate senior. And Jack Edelin, a 5'10 junior guard. The meat on the bone of this team is through the transfer portal, and I think they have some potential, like, big-time contributors. Ryan Myers comes in from Western Illinois. He shot 35% from 3 on 7 attempts a game, averaged 13 points, 2.5 boards, over assists per game. Cameron Hafner's a 6'2 senior guard, comes in from Evansville, shot 36.5% from 3 on 6.5 attempts, shot 46% from the floor, averaged 12.5 points, 3.5 boards, also can pass it a little bit. And then you got Grant Newell from North Texas, who's a tremendous defender, 6'9 senior forward, who played 21.5 minutes a game last year. And then Bryant Celebang from McNeese, who didn't get a lot of burn with the pokes, but also has a very good defensive aspect to his game as a forward. They've got Noah Boyd coming in from LSU as a 7-footer to provide a little bit of depth, alongside Louis Simona from Stonehill, who lit it up there in the NEC. And he's kind of a stretch 4. We'll see how well that plays in the Conference USA this year. The JUCO gamble that they have indulged themselves on is a possible backup point guard in LJ Hackman, who is ranked 30th in the JUCO recruiting.com transfer portal. Averaged 17 points per game, 3.5 assists, and 3.5 boards at Jones Junior College last season. Western Kentucky is a roster that I've kind of fallen in love with. I'm banking on Plona. Last year wasn't really the year, and clean house and bring in a lot of new pieces with a couple of guys that have, known the system and provide a little bit of continuity. I'm all in on the Hilltoppers this year, and I think they're a contender to win the title.
Okay. I can definitely understand why you fall in love with this team, Noah. I see the depth. I see the experience. The depth and experience are obvious. The only concern I have is that a lot of these guys are have either had either coming off injury seasons or have had injuries in the past, and that's the area where I'd be concerned. I think if you're looking for a team that's going to get off to a fast start in conference play and then slow down because they pick up a couple of injuries towards the end, I think it could be Western Kentucky this year. I think they could kind of repeat that, that Jacksonville State, Louisiana Tech fade that we saw last year out of those two programs. I think it's, again, I think they're going to, to your point, I do think they are going to be contending for, that upper quadrant of the conference. Whether they end up there at the end of the season, I'm not sure, but yeah, there's a lot to like with this team. It kind of just like checks all the boxes that you would need for like a capable basketball team. It's like, okay, got that. They really need that point guard to really come through if they're going to be that contender, though. That's another area that kind of has me concerned. Just if he if there's another injury there, or if he if his performance isn't quite where it was where he was previously, that could be a challenge for this team. But there is a lot to like here, and this is a really good roster.
Bounce back year for Plona and company. Experienced roster. He knows the lay of the land after 1 year. So yeah, I'm going to be in on the Hilltoppers as a contender, top 4 team once again.
Right on.
I think I've been counting in my head. I think that's now 5 or 6 top 4 teams for you. You got to figure out over there.
It's going to be tight. I was looking at it there. I mean, 2 through 10 is going to be separated by like 2 games. So.
Yeah, it's going to be tight. So, I mean, he could have a couple ties in his his predictions. So, that's how the top 4 could work out.
I gotta call him out when I gotta call.
No, I've only given out 4.
No,
okay.
if we're going to call you out for your big black man, we're definitely going to call out Mac for his 6 teams
his
in the top 4.
Overabundance of love that he spreads during the team preview portion.
So you can call me out for you can beat the crap out of me for my nicotine pouch, which I took out, by the way, and I haven't had any problems.
I've had the top 4 penciled in on here before the episode, so yeah.
Okay.
Number 12, Delaware.
Yeah,
I got Missouri State 12.
Wow.
Yeah, I got Missouri State 11.
I got them 11th too. Yeah, not much mystery here.
I have Delaware 11th.
10. Okay. 10 FIU. I don't care that they may finish 9-11, but that'll be 10th. Ballard, I can't get it on board with that.
I gotta scroll. I gotta find my notes here and scroll up. I apologize. No, who you got at 10?
At 10, I got FIU as well. I think it's a step up though, out of the basement at least. They'll win around 7 or 8 games.
At 10, I'll put UTEP at 10. I'm just not sold on that roster. That's a 10 team for me.
At number 9, I got Sam Houston. 9th again. I got to see it for Mudge.
I have Sam Houston as well. Just a lot of youth and experience with a lot of unproven talent on the roster this year.
9, yeah, Sam Houston, cosign.
La Tech 8. Middle of the pack ish.
How dare you? Yeah, I have the Bulldogs 8 as well. They burned me last year. I'm putting them down in the bottom half this year because it's not nearly as talented as a roster, and there's a lot of JUCO bandits that they're betting on this year.
I'm going to go FIU at 8. I think we see some improvement out of them. They get out of the basement this year.
At number 7, I got Kennesaw. I got them taking a little bit of a step back, but I still, like you said, I said top half, but then I ended up right in the middle.
Okay.
At 7, I've got UTEP. Joe Golding defenses always seem to pan out, but I think the offensive ceiling really relies this year on those JUCO bandits, and I could see them outperforming this, but I thought this was a nice spot for the Miners.
Fair enough. At 7, I got La Tech. I think some of those JUCO bandits come through.
At number 6, Joe Golding, right smack in the middle.
At 6, I got Jax State. They're old with a lot of depth. They're going to be a physical, defensive-minded team. I just think there's a little bit of a hurdle on the offensive side of the ball this year.
Okay, at 6, I put Sam Houston. I think they're going to have some nights where they run teams off the floor, and they're going to have some nights where they look really rough. But I think 6 is a good spot for Sam Houston.
5, middle. I said top 5 for middle, so they ended up cracking 5th. McDevitt and company, I think they'll be solid again this year.
I've got New Mexico State 5th. There's a lot of experience with this group, and it's a strong backcourt that you have to love.
Okay. At 5, I've got middle. Cosign. Murfreesboro has a good season.
Ray Harper cracks the top 4 here. Jax State. I like this team experience. They got an identity. They'll be tough.
4th, I've got the Blue Raiders there. There's plenty of front court depth here, and it's been a consistent defense under McDevitt throughout his tenure. So I like Middle Tennessee at 4.
Okay, at 4, I've got Jax State also. Again, like the coach, like the roster, it makes sense to me. I think it's almost more the floor than anything else. But I got Jax State at 4.
At 3, I got New Mexico State. All this experience, Hooten, stays in the top 4. I think they take a step up though to 3.
At 3, that's where I have Kennesaw State. I think they're a good contender this year. Defensive identity with a star in Simeon Cottle. I just think they lack a little bit of offensive support around them.
3, I've got Kennesaw State. Yeah, a lot of the same reasons.
2, the tops, and 1, Liberty. We're all going to have the same top 2, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah, tops at 2 and Liberty at 1.
That's what I've got.
I like WKU. They got 8 potential seniors in that rotation. They check a lot of boxes, like Capper said during the team preview. But, I mean, Liberty's just got a couple of really good starters that return.
How many games do you think Liberty loses in conference this year?
I've got them around 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Okay. They were 5 last year and they won it.
Tournament winner.
Yeah, I don't know if they're as
I got Liberty.
much improved compared to last year's team.
Yeah. It's not the same.
They're good. I got Liberty too, winning the tournament. Capper?
I'll go Liberty. I wanted to get cute, but I'm not going to get cute.
Jax State picks them off. They get revenge off last year.
Wow.
Ray Harper, he's March Madness magic before. So Harper, let's go.
I think Liberty they got the taste last year. And I think they're going to want it again. So I'll go with Liberty.
Media poll: Liberty first with 11 first place votes. Kennesaw State second with 1. New Mexico State third. Middle Tennessee 4th. Louisiana Tech 5th. Western Kentucky 6th. Jacksonville State 7. UTEP 8. Sam Houston 9. Florida International 10. Delaware 11. And Missouri State at 12. For me, my sleeper of the bunch is going to be Western Kentucky. And I think all of us have WKU picked second, and they were picked 6th in the media poll.
That's so weird to me.
And my bus is going to be Kennesaw, taking a step back.
My bus is going to be Louisiana Tech. They were picked 5th. I've got them 8th.
I got them 7th. I guess I don't get a bust. All right. Yeah.
30 down, 1 to go. Ivy League tomorrow. Futures tomorrow. Final 4. Go check out College Football Experience coming up here in about 2 minutes. Go check out the Locks and Dogs podcast with Cannabis Capper. And follow Cannabis Capper at Cannabis Capper. Go check out Noah Bienick at Noah B77_. I'm at Moneyline_Mac. 1 to go. The season's upon us. This is the College Basketball Experience. You better start thinking about yours, and we are out of here. All right. 1 more to go tonight.
Ivy League.
Oh, yeah. I got to do the marathon football.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
We're live here in about 1 minute. Middle Tennessee.